The gravel crunched under my tires as I pulled into the driveway of my late brother Ethan's lakefront cabin that Saturday morning, craving the quiet after a grueling week at the office. This place was my sanctuary, a slice of peace Ethan had left me, nestled by a shimmering lake where his memory lingered in every tree and stone. But as I stepped out, the air felt wrong. My eyes caught the wreckage before my brain could process it. Ethan's lavender garden, tended for 20 years, was obliterated. Petals mashed into mud, solar lights snapped like twigs, and worst of all, the small stone bird he'd carved before cancer claimed him lay shattered by the water's edge. My chest tightened. This wasn't an accident. This was malice. I raced inside, remembering the security camera Ethan had tucked under the eaves, paranoid about break-ins after his diagnosis. His old desktop hummed to life, and I pulled up the footage from the night before. At 8 p.m., 5 young adults had turned my lawn into a party zone, speakers blaring, coolers stuffed with beer, and zero respect. Leading them was a smug kid with dyed platinum hair, barking orders like he owned the place. By 9:30, I saw myself on screen, approaching them, voice calm but firm, asking them to lower the noise and clean up, explaining this was private property. The kid's response burned into me. "Listen, Grandpa, this is HOA land. I've got every right to be here. Want quiet? Go home." I'd walked away, thinking they were just reckless teens. But the footage kept rolling, and what I saw next made my hands tremble. After I'd gone inside, the platinum-haired kid stood, stared straight at the camera, and sneered to his friends. Time to teach this guy a lesson. Then he marched to Ethan's garden and stomped it to oblivion, his buddies cheering like it was a game. This wasn't a prank. It was a calculated attack. Something else caught my eye in the Fujiya black BMW sedan parked 50 yards off, half hidden by trees, its license plate gleaming under moonlight. I froze the frame, my gut screaming. I grabbed my phone and headed to my neighbor Walter, a silver-haired retiree watering his tomatoes. Walter had lived here for decades, knew every face and feud. When I showed him photos of the ruined garden, he sighed. "I've been warning folks about Vanessa Reed for years, but no one listens. She's been tightening her grip on the HOA since she became president, thinks she owns the lake." I asked about the kid. Walter's face darkened. "That's her son, Tyler. Rotten apple, just like his mother." I showed him the BMW screenshot. He nodded grimly. "That's Vanessa's car. She drives it everywhere, loves the status. But why was she lurking while Tyler trashed your place?" The question hung like a storm cloud. This wasn't random. It was orchestrated. Back at the cabin, I sat on the porch, clutching a letter I'd written to Ethan but never sent, words about how this place kept him alive for me. Now, someone was trying to erase him. I spent the next morning printing screenshots from the footage, organizing a timeline like the data analyst I am. Evidence first, accusations later. I drove to Vanessa's address, a mansion with flawless landscaping and that same BMW in the driveway. She answered the door in a silk blouse, her early 50s face polished but annoyed, like I was an unscheduled delivery. I introduced myself as Ethan's brother, owner of the cabin. Her smile was rehearsed. "Oh, the cabin. So sorry about Ethan. Such a kind man." Her words felt hollow. I showed her the photos and footage of Tyler's vandalism, expecting remorse. Instead, she studied them with the boredom of flipping through a magazine. "I understand you're upset, but Tyler's just a young man. Boys make mistakes. Perhaps you're overreacting to a harmless prank." Her tone was patronizing, like I was a child. When I pressed, pointing out Tyler's recorded intent, her mask slipped. She gestured to a wall of HOA awards. "I've been president for 3 years. I know the rules better than anyone. You should learn them before accusing respected members of this community." Then came the threat. "If you don't fit our guidelines, maybe this isn't the place for you. Some people are happier elsewhere." Her smile was venomous. When I mentioned her BMW at the scene, she waved it off. "I patrol the community regularly." "You're mistaken." Frustrated, I crafted a wooden sign. "Private property, please respect." I stained it, planted it by the lakefront, and felt a flicker of control. But by morning, it was gone, ripped from the ground, tossed into the lake, tire tracks and boot prints scarring the earth. In my mailbox was an HOA violation notice, fining me $500 for unauthorized signage under Section 12.c, some vague lakefront scenic harmony rule. Walter saw me fuming and shook his head. She got you with 12th. I warned everyone when she pushed that through. It's deliberately ambiguous, gives her too much power. He explained Vanessa had rammed the rule through 2 years ago, with only 3 votes against Ithis included. That night, Tyler's crew returned, louder, with camping chairs, a fire pit, and a banner, "Still here. Deal with it." At midnight, a beer bottle crashed through my window, glass scattering. Taped to it was a note, "24 days left, old man. We'll party till you're gone." Tyler. This wasn't a dispute. It was war. But instead of confronting them, I dove into Ethan's storage room, sifting through decades of documents. Amid tax records and receipts, I found a 1987 surveyor's map, signed and stamped, showing our family owned not just the lakefront but the entire lake and 200 feet inland around its perimeter. This wasn't a strip of grass, it was millions in real estate. The HOA's map falsely claimed it as common land. Vanessa, with access to all records, had to know. She wasn't just protecting Tyler. She was hiding a massive lie. I photographed the map and drafted an email to Vanessa and the HOA board, demanding they cease trespassing. But I paused. Vanessa was cunning. I needed to play smarter. I sent a cryptic message. "Vanessa, found something in Ethan's papers. We need to talk." 2 hours later, sirens wailed. Vanessa had called 911, claiming I was a hostile neighbor blocking public access. Officer Martinez arrived, calm and professional. I showed him the map, explaining my ownership. He nodded, impressed by its clarity. Then Vanessa swept in, leather briefcase in hand, Tyler smirking behind her. She greeted Martinez like an old friend, oozing charm. "Thank you for handling this, officer. This new resident doesn't understand our guidelines." She opened her binder, citing Section 12.c, claiming the HOA could buy my land for fair market value to preserve community access. She handed Martinez an appraisal, $75,000. For lakefront worth millions. It was theft, dressed in legalese. Martinez, caught between my map and her documents, called it a civil matter and left. Vanessa's parting shot was chilling. "You have 30 days to accept our generous offer. The alternative will be costly." Tyler sneered. "Won't need that camera soon, Grandpa. Not your land anymore." Alone, I called lawyers, but fees of $15,000 to $25,000 with no guaranteed win crushed me. I sat by the lake, Ethan's whiskey in hand, tempted to take the $75,000 and end the nightmare. Walter found me, thermos of tea in hand. "You look defeated." I've fought Vanessa before. She tried finding me for my garden. I started keeping records. He mentioned her $47,000 stone wall, funded by HOA landscaping, but built on her private land. My analyst instinct sparked. "Walter, how much did it cost?" He didn't know, but said I could request HOA financials as a homeowner. I drafted a formal request for 3 years of records, copying the board. Vanessa stalled, claiming privacy issues, off-site storage, legal supervision. Meanwhile, she buried me in violations. $100 for a wrong-colored kayak, $75 for misaligned furniture, $50 for a towel on my railing. The 4th notice declared me a chronic violator, accelerating her purchase timeline to 7 days. She was building a case to steal my land. Desperate, I called Walter. He invited me over, revealing 2 years of records. His folder on financial irregularities was damning. $47,000 to Greenscape Landscaping, registered to Vanessa's address, for her wall. When the HOA finally sent records, I built a spreadsheet. Greenscape received $47,000, all for Vanessa's property. Fake invoices for $12,000 in lakefront enhancements showed no work done. The money vanished into her accounts. I compiled a report. Photos, invoices, proof Greenscape was her front. Vanessa wasn't just bullying, Mesh was embezzling. Walter and I called an emergency HOA meeting. 42 homeowners packed the community center, tension thick. Vanessa, presiding, announced a resolution to buy my land for $75,000. Smug, she thought she'd won. I stood, projector ready, and played Tyler's vandalism footage. Gasps filled the room. I showed the 1987 map, proving my ownership, then Vanessa's $47,000 wall, built with HOA funds. The Greenscape registration her address drew shouts. Fake $12,000 invoices sealed it. Vanessa screamed, "This is a personal attack," but crumbled, admitting, "Maybe I used some funds. I deserved compensation." Officer Martinez, invited by Walter, heard it all. Vanessa faced fraud charges, jailed. Tyler got 200 hours of service and paid for Ethan's garden. The HOA ousted Vanessa, elected Walter, and I kept the land, opening a memorial garden for Ethan. Months later, Vanessa's lawyers threatened a defamation suit from her cell. Walter chuckled, "Some never learn." The fight exposed her, but her final threats stirred debate. Was she a mastermind undone by hubris, or a victim of her own desperation? What do you think? Did she plan this from the start, or did her greed spiral out of control?